Rey is the new protagonist for the Star Wars sequel series, which will consist of episodes 7, 8, and 9. And the reason she's just Rey without a last name is because we currently do not know who her father is or who her parents are. Now, there are three theories circulating the internet about who her parents might be, or at least, who her ancestors are. So I'm just going to review these three theories and talk about which one I think or which one I believe to be true. So the first theory is one that I find highly unlikely, and that is that Rey is the granddaughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, there's a few pieces of evidence that suggest that this could be true, but not as much as the other two theories. That's why I think it unlikely. However, I will still go over it. Now, one of the pieces of evidence that supports this theory is that they have a similar outfit. Their outfits do look very similar. However, I believe it was confirmed that Rey's outfit is actually based on early concept art for Luke when he was considered to be a female. So actually, her outfit is based more on Luke's outfit. And then another piece of evidence is that they both have British accents, and that is true. There are several British actors in the Star Wars franchise that spoke an American accent, so it is a bit odd that these are the only actors that spoke in their British accents. However, you don't get an accent from who your parents are. You get an accent from where you come from, like where you grew up. And the third piece of evidence is that you can hear Obi-Wan's voice calling to Rey in the Force vision, but honestly, I don't think this means that he's related to Rey, because you also hear Luke's voice crying out no after Vader revealed to him that he was his father. So you hear a lot of different voices, and just because you hear Obi-Wan's voice doesn't necessarily mean that she's related to Obi-Wan. So the second theory is that she is the child of Han Solo, more specifically Han Solo and Princess Leia. Now, this would mean that she is Kylo Ren's sister, which would definitely be interesting. It would be brother versus sister in the lightsaber duels. They'd be fighting against each other. But there are a lot of pieces of evidence that prove this theory wrong, and the biggest one being that they don't seem to recognize each other. Han doesn't seem to recognize his own daughter, and if Leia can sense when Han is dead, she definitely should be able to tell that Rey is her daughter. So the biggest thing is that, they don't seem to recognize their own kid, and they speak about Kylo Ren openly, and they speak about his fall to the dark side, and they don't mention a daughter at all. So wouldn't they be trying to find their long-lost daughter too? Personally, I don't think this is true. I mean, there is some evidence that supports it, like this could be related to the EU. In the expanded universe, there was Jaina and Jaqen Solo, who were twins, and one went to the dark side. Obviously, Kylo Ren's kind of modeled after Jaqen Solo, who went to the dark side. Some say that Rey could be modeled after Jaina Solo. I personally don't think this is true. I think the sequels could take, a few elements from the expanded universe, but personally, I don't think that Rey is a Solo. So here's the third theory that I personally believe, and I'm pretty sure most people believe this theory as well, because it's probably the most likely. And this is that Rey is the daughter of Luke Skywalker. Now, there are many reasons that this is the most likely, and in fact, there's just so much evidence that supports this, I probably won't catch it all. I probably won't talk about everything, but I'll talk about, a few pieces of evidence that definitely support this theory. One being that with her lightsaber vision, the lightsaber called to her, and it makes sense. I mean, this lightsaber was constructed and owned by Anakin, then it was passed down to Luke, and so now it's being passed down to Rey, so that probably means Rey is the third generation of Skywalker, the third generation of the Skywalkers. Another thing I mentioned is that her clothes aren't in fact based after Obi-Wan's clothes, they are in fact based after Luke's clothes, so this is very similar too. Also, she just parallels or mirrors Luke a lot. I mean, she was found on a desert planet. Her mentor was killed, so she has a lot of similarities to Luke. And another thing that I kind of noticed was that Kylo Ren, when he sees Finn holding Anakin's lightsaber, he screams at Finn, "Hey, that belongs to me." But then when Rey takes the lightsaber, sure, they're in the middle of the battle. He isn't really going to say anything, but he doesn't tell her, "Give me that lightsaber," because maybe he knows it technically belongs to Rey, not him, since it would go down from Luke to Luke's kid. And now, of course, when Rey finds Luke at the end of the film, Luke, looks at her, and according to the script, he is conflicted and amazed that his daughter is alive, and yeah, he's conflicted because he doesn't know how she is alive. And so, there's a few different theories on how Rey was left on Jakku. Some say that Luke left her on Jakku after Kylo Ren destroyed the Jedi Order. I think that's definitely a possibility, but I think Kylo Ren left her on Jakku because he destroyed the Jedi Order and then killing Luke's Padawans, but he couldn't bring himself to kill Rey. Maybe because they were cousins, he had some special relationship with her, so he couldn't kill her. And maybe just the fact that she was family, he couldn't kill her. So instead, he took her, leaving Luke to believe that Kylo killed her, when in reality, Kylo actually kidnapped her and dropped her off at Jakku, thinking that if he could hide her on Jakku, she wouldn't be a threat to him, but he wouldn't have to kill her. You can also hear, I believe, Kylo's voice telling her to kind of like, "Come over here, girl," or "Get over here," when it shows, young Rey screaming at the ship to come back. So that could be Kylo Ren leaving her there. Who knows, but that may just be some alien leaving her there. So, there's definitely those pieces of evidence. So there's a lot of evidence that supports this theory of her being Luke's daughter. I can't remember all of it because there's just so much of it, but I can say that I personally believe that she is a Skywalker and she is Luke's daughter. And after all, Star Wars, at least the episode films, are a story about the Skywalkers, not the Solos and not the Kenobis. And you could say that the Solos are related to the Skywalkers, which they are, but is their surname, is their last name Skywalker? Yeah, I didn't think so. So this is about the Skywalkers, so it does make sense that she would be Luke's daughter. So yeah, that was my theory on if Rey was, who her parents were. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment if you want. There'll be more content coming up soon, and I will see you all next time.